I finally watched Jujutsu Kaisen 0, and honestly this was a fantastic movie, and I am so glad I finally got around to watching it, and it really brought me back into that Jujutsu Kaisen world, and I am looking forward to Season 2 a lot more now. But before I get into spoiler territory, welcome to NonStopAntonio, where I talk about everything nerdy. If you like content just like this, hit the subscribe button for more, and I hope you enjoy this video. I like how this movie introduces us to a new character, Yuta, who has a curse called Rika, who protects him at all costs, and when he gets bullied, that curse kills the bullies, which I thought was pretty insane, and it's kind of sad too, because you have this curse that's protecting this kid who can't do anything about it, and everyone around him just ends up dying. And because of this, the sorcerers go after him, and Rika just won't let Yuta die, and protects him at all costs, and it ends up with a bunch of people dead even more. And I like how Gojo takes him to Jujutsu High to really train him and teach him how to use his powers, because he could use his powers for good. And honestly, I love Gojo. You could just see how extra he is when you're watching this too. It just reminds me how cool of a character he is, and I cannot wait to see more of him. And then we find out the reason that Yuta has this curse is because when he was a kid, he made a promise with his best friend Rika to always love each other, and to pretty much, it was an engagement. He gave her an engagement ring, and they said they would be together forever. And then unfortunately, she got hit by a car in front of him, which is, holy shit, that's dark. And we find out later in the movie that the only reason that Rika is a curse is because Yuta is the one that put it on her, and that it wasn't the other way around where Rika cursed him, he cursed Rika, and he had no idea he did it. He refused her death and did not want to believe it, so that in the end, he manifested the curse. And from the twist at the end of the movie, he's actually descended from one of the top 3 sorcerers, a distant relative of Gojo, which I thought was really cool. But I've got way too far ahead of myself. Let's jump back to the beginning. I like how this is taking place with Maki, Toge, and Panda during that era. And this is them when they're in their first years, which you really learn that Toga is one of the most powerful with his speech because of his clan. And I like how Yuta also uses that in the final fight against Suguru, which I thought was really cool, that he could also manifest different curse powers and use it, because goddamn, Yuta is one powerful dude. When he knows how to use his full power, he's going to be unstoppable. I like how when Yuta and Maki go on their first curse fight, and Maki just absolutely destroys the curses until they get swallowed whole by the huge one, and I was like, holy shit. At least they saved the 2 kids, and Rika came out to protect them, and it was really cool. None of the higher-ups like that, because now you have Rika fully out of control, but, you know, he was lucky to get her back in, because none of them understand it, and they think that Rika can't be controlled, and that if he does it again, they will kill him because of it, to make sure that that curse doesn't get out. Which I thought was a cool dynamic, because Gojo believes him and puts his own life on the line so that Yuta could live. I also find it hilarious that when Maki and Yuta are sparring, Panda comes over and gives Yuta the sexy talk, asking him if he likes big boobs or small boobs, and then tells Maki she has a chance. Just a really funny scene, and it made me like Panda a little more, because I already liked him, but it was just a funny scene, and I enjoyed it. Then we had Gojo send Yuta along with Toge to deal with a bunch of level 1 curses, a swarm of them. However, that turns real bad real quick. But the funny part is the curses reminded me of like a school of fish, which I thought was cool, and Toge just absolutely decimates them in 1 second. But then another curse comes up and almost kills one of them, and they both get away. And I thought this was a really cool moment for Yuta too, because you kind of see that he's getting better with the sword, and you see him go into the fight like no hesitation, and he's doing some pretty cool moves, and they take down the curse with Toge's help, and we find out that Suguru was the one watching him because he wanted to recruit Yuta to his cause. And I thought it was really interesting. I really enjoyed the fight scenes in this movie. Like, the fight scenes were on point, like, all the time, and that's why I cannot wait for Season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen, because I cannot wait to see more of these fight scenes. We find out more about Suguru's background in this as well. We find out that he killed over 100 people with curses, normal people. He believes that only sorcerers should exist, and all non-sorcerers should be killed because they can't protect themselves. And I thought that was really interesting. We also find out that he was best friends with Gojo, and I did not see that coming. And I like how Suguru tries to recruit Yuta, and he's like, no. And he declares war on Jujutsu High and all the Jujutsu sorcerers. And he plans to kill Yuta to get Rika so they could have this really powerful curse. Which puts us in this gigantic, awesome final fight where you have all the curses attacking the major cities, all the sorcerers going to fight them, and you get to see everyone's movesets go off, which was really cool. And you find out that Gojo kind of realizes right away that, oh shit, Suguru went to Jujutsu High, but I gotta stay here, so he sends Panda and Toge off. And they both just bust in through the veil that Suguru put over the high school, and they just go ham. Like, they get taken out, but they go ham, which was a pretty cool fight, because Maki didn't stand a chance. And I like how this sends Yuta off the breaking point because he snaps to see his friends all injured on the ground and he goes full God mode, which was so goddamn cool to watch because you see the anger in his eyes, the rage that he has to go and protect his friends, that he has to go and help them. And it was such a cool fight. Like, I cannot, like, it was so cool. Like, him going back and forth, him going even more and more powerful, getting faster, and then making the deal with Rika that if she gives them all this power, they'll die. They'll both die. And I totally thought he was going to die too, until we find out at the end that by doing that, he actually released Rika Bot from his curse. Rika was able to move on, and Rika even told him to, like, live as long as possible. I don't want to see you soon, because she loves him and wants to see that he has a happy life, and thanks him for giving him the extra 6 years. And I thought that was a really touching moment, where even though he put a curse on his love, she still got to spend that 6 years with him. And again, I love seeing all the different sorcerers fight in the major cities because Gojo just absolutely goes ham. And I like how one of the characters even mentions, like, oh, Gojo's pissed because he absolutely just one-shots all these big guys. He just, like, turns and just bang, dead. I love it so much. We also got to see Nanami go full ham, which was really awesome. And also we get to see more of the Kyoto school use their powers and fight. And I thought, you know, it's really fun. It's cool to see all these characters fight more, even though we got to see them fight in season 1. Great to see them even more in action than this. I like how we find out, too, that Gojo sent Toge and Panda to go fight Suguru because he knew Suguru wouldn't kill them. Because they were young sorcerers, and he believed that his friend wouldn't kill the kids. And he was right about it, but he was risking their lives. But overall, this movie was really cool. I like how there's a post-credit scene setting up Yuta with Miguel, who Miguel was fighting Gojo in the big battle, and I am curious to why Miguel would be helping Yuta, and I'm really interested to see what's going on. Because I heard that the movie also has elements from this next arc in it, but it also is part of that mini-series that came out before that manga came out. I'm really curious now to see how the next arcs are going to go and when Yuta's going to return, because I totally thought that he was going to die at the end of this movie because he wasn't in season 1, and I'm interested to seeing what happens going forward, and this has really got me more hyped for season 2 of Jujutsu Kaisen. I really enjoyed this anime, and oh my god, I cannot wait for more. Have you seen the movie yet? Let me know what your thoughts about it are in the comments down below. And if you like my anime content, make sure you hit the subscribe button because I am always talking anime nowadays, and I absolutely love it. I literally went from never watching anime, refusing to watch it, to watching it all the time. I can't wait to keep going and watching more and more and more. I cannot wait for Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.